What's up, guys? Brian back to talk about the Walking Dead New York Comic Con panel, everything we learned, comicbook.com article. New York Comic Con was just this weekend. We're 13 days out from the season 7 premiere. We can't wait. And New York Comic Con just passed, and we got the trailer sneak peek thing this past weekend. If you haven't seen that, definitely check out that video. Comicbook.com. It's a pretty good article, and it was a pretty good Comic Con. The Walking Dead's New York Comic Con was packed with reveals and information regarding the upcoming season. In fact, it was the juiciest bit of the Walking Dead scoop since the season 7 trailer dropped at San Diego Comic Con this year. From a new clip revealing one of the survivors of Lucille, references to the comics, and teases from cast members, the picture of season 7 is getting much more clear as we approach the premiere. Just 2 weeks from a new episode of The Walking Dead, we're going to take a look at everything we learned at New York Comic Con on the following slides. Be warned, this does mean mild spoilers follow. Yes, spoilers are coming ahead, as with most of our videos. General spoilers for season 7. It's a longer video because we cover a lot of different things from the Comic-Con, and they break it up pretty nicely there too. First, don't mess with Morgan. Morgan is going to be a big part of season 7, with the Kingdom and Carol, so we'll see how that plays out. But Carol will be in very good hands to start the new season. The character will find herself at the Kingdom under Ezekiel's rule with Morgan Jones at her side. The two men have very strong beliefs and personalities, which will likely influence Carol's decision going forward. If Morgan can convince her that all life is precious, maybe she'll think the same of her own. Morgan, however, is also dealing with his own demons by the sounds of Lenny James' account. If you notice at the end of season 6, when he shoots that savior in order to save Carol, I think one bullet would have done it, but he emptied the clip. Lenny James points out, those people who are begging for Morgan to return to the killer, be careful what you wish for. And that's a good point. I mean, Morgan does have strong beliefs. King Ezekiel has strong rule. And we'll see how it plays out in season 7. I can't wait to see the Kingdom and really Shiva. Rick survives. We know Rick survives because he can't be. There's no Walking Dead without Rick Grimes, and he was talking to Negan, as we saw in the thing. Given the clip shown at Madison Square Garden, we can finally confirm the first survivor from Negan's lineup is Rick. However, we can also assume that Eugene, Sasha, Carl, and Aaron are also safe. The blood splattered on Rick's face is splattered onto the right side, indicating that the victim is on that side of Rick. So, still in grave danger are Abraham, Maggie, Glenn, Daryl, Michonne, and Rosita. Also revealed in the trailer was Daryl's blanket being removed from him for some reason, which is laying beside the remains of Lucille's victim. So, we can't wait to see how it plays out. If you know the channel, if you know everything about this, the victims. There's 2 victims, and it's Abraham and Glenn, but we can't wait to see how it's going to be played out. The iron is hot. That is the iron mark on Dwight. Hopefully we're going to see that. I would love to see that. Alluding to Negan's favorite method of punishment, Jeffrey Dean Morgan explained why people follow such a villain. First, Morgan revealed a few details about his new character, calling him a bit of a showman. This world is his stage. You can call it cocky, but we all watched Rick get cocky. As much charisma as Negan has, there's a big element of fear. The actor goes on. I think a lot of his followers follow him for fear of getting an iron on their face or worse. The reference directly tied to the fact that Negan uses irons to punish disloyal saviors in the comics. The act has been evidenced on Dwight's face already in the series, but the process will likely be shown firsthand in the upcoming season. I hope we definitely get to see that, the iron to the face. If you know the Walking Dead comics, you know this scene right here was done in the trailer, sneak peek, whatever you want to call it. Pretty awesome that they're following the comics, but they're also not following the comics in there too. But that was directly from the comics. A new clip showing the aftermath of Negan's kill followed the comics word for word with some dialogue. I'm going to kill you, Rick says in both the comics and the TV series. Not today, not tomorrow, but I'm going to kill you. The lines are an exact replica of the words used by Rick Grimes in the Robert Kirkman Walking Dead Comics 100th issue after Glenn has his head bashed in. As noted earlier, the possibility of keeping the death true to the comics is a possibility based on his positioning in relation to Rick and the blood spattered on his face. So what do you think? Do you think it's Glenn, Abraham? Do you believe the spoilers? Do you believe us? Do you believe what we're saying? Do you believe not? I mean, it still could be not true. I mean, we got 13 days to find out. But, it's pretty awesome that they're sticking to the comics like that, too, to the word for word. But they also mix the things up with right here. Negan's introductory scene in the Walking Dead comics ended up with the new villain tossing his bat over the shoulder and marching off shortly after bashing Glenn's skull in. Regardless of who dies, the show has already taken a few liberties by comparison to the comics. So that's the one thing I do like about it, that they don't do exactly from the comics. They mix things up a little bit, and in the sneak peek, they definitely did. Like right here, he throws him in the RV, and what's going to happen? Is he going to lose his hand? Maybe, maybe not. Can't wait to find out. Negan yanks Rick into the RV and a tease of slicing off Rick's hand like the governor did much earlier in the comics. This is very much off course from the source material, but Scott Gimple and others involved with the show have discussed a feeling of pressure to deliver in the premiere after a massive backlash following the season 6 cliffhanger. You're damn right, you better freaking put everything in there that you need to do. You better deliver. You better deliver after that cliffhanger crap. If they find a way to make Negan's introduction even more impactful, audiences had best prepare themselves for an emotional roller coaster. And I think they will, and they better do that. Also, during the panel, a fan asked the cast members which the Walking Dead character they would most likely to play if they had to play one other than their own. It prompted a bit of fun amongst the panelists as they revealed their answers. Yeah, pretty funny. Greg Nicotero, Judith, Stephen Yun, Michonne, Lenny James, Eugene, because he rocks that hair, Norman Reedus, Negan, Jeffrey Dean Morgan, Abraham. That's a little clue there. Jeffrey Dean Morgan wants to be Abraham, Denai Guerrera, Negan, Austin Nichols, Shane. So Norman Reedus, Negan, and then Abraham for Jeffrey Dean Morgan. I don't know. Is that a clue that he wants to do that, or he just wants to be a ginger, redhead, military guy? I don't know. Austin Nichols is one of the newest cast members on the show, so for him to throw back his answer to the earliest seasons with the memory of Shane earns some major points. Whatever, Austin Nichols, you need to go. Spencer needs to go. Of course, Jeffrey Dean Morgan's choice of Abraham is interesting, as he may have killed Big Red. Orange Crush theory, look out. So that's kind of crazy. Maggie loves fans. I got a chance to meet her. She does firsthand. She's awesome. Lauren Cohan is freaking awesome. When the conversation turned to Lauren Cohan and Maggie's emergence as a leader, the actress took a few moments to answer. Cohan took a few moments to thank fans of The Walking Dead and had a few tears in her eyes while doing so. You guys have all been on such a journey with us. Cohan said thank you, and thank you for caring about our show and being mad when you don't know things. So Maggie's awesome. Lauren Cohan, Stephen Young. I mean, they really all are great, but got a little affinity for Maggie Green. A fan yelled, "I love you," to which Cohan came back with, "I love you too. This is larger than our lives," she says. "This is larger than our show. This is such a privilege," she says with tears. It's pretty awesome to see that from the cast. Morgan and Carol, more talk about that. What's going to happen for season 7? Melissa McBride kind of weighed in a little bit. Fans of The Walking Dead are spending the off-season worried about the core members of Rick's group who finds themselves at the mercy of Negan's bat, but there is another character that may soon start to sweat for. Carol Pelletier is an equally dangerous place as anyone who is on their knees in front of Negan. However, her threat is not as menacing new villain, but her state of mind. The character was all but suicidal when we last saw her in season 6 finale, and it sounds like she may continue the trend when we find her again. So I don't know. She's my dark horse for a death prediction, but I don't know what's going to happen. Every step she's taken up to this moment has just devastated her up to this point. Melissa McBride says of Carol at the Walking Dead New York Comic Con panel at Madison Square Garden of the weekend, "What is it about this world that makes us want to survive so much? That's a huge question. With Carol pondering her existence and why she wants to survive, one has to wonder if The Walking Dead's most badass lady will be fulfilling the destiny set for her in the pages of The Walking Dead comics." So if you know the comics, Carol has outlived their character. She's a far different character on the show versus the comic. She commits suicide. When there's a love thing with Tyrese, I'm not going to get into that, but she commits suicide. In issue 42 of The Walking Dead comics, Carol decided she no longer wanted to live and fed herself to a zombie. After getting bitten, other characters found her bleeding out and were quick to help her, but she insisted to let her die. In fact, Carol was outlived by Sophia in the comic book, something which has been completely changed on the TV series. Speaking to comicbook.com a couple of weeks ago, Melissa McBride teased the same suicidal thoughts to her fans' character. This is a different season, McBride says. She definitely got some healing to do in her mind and where she wants to be on this earth, or if she wants to stick around, or what. So what do you think? Does she want to stick around or whatever? I can't freaking wait. New York Comic Con was great. The panel was great. The sneak peek was great. What do you think for these people going forward? They gave us something in the sneak peek, which I didn't think they really would. I can't believe it. Thanks, guys. Like, share, subscribe. Subscribe to keep the videos coming. Post your comments, and you guys are awesome.